Welcome back, everyone. Today's topic, Rooty, Tooty, pistol shooty.
Point and shooty.
Point and shooty. Rooty, Tooty, point and shooty. In light of recent events, the shooting in Minneapolis and previous mass shootings, we thought it'd be a good time to discuss firearms, gun control perhaps, and the defensive uses of firearms for the average citizen. So, I'm sure you all have heard, there was an incident at a Catholic school in Minneapolis. 2 children, unfortunately, lost their lives. And of course, the assailant used firearms to do so. So I guess we'll start out with bad guys evidently have a long track record of using firearms against good people.
Yes. Long history.
Yes, since the invention of them.
Yes.
What is the role of because opponents of firearms will say there is no such thing as a good guy with a gun. You know, the good guy with a gun is not going to save you from the bad guy with a gun. Any thoughts?
Well, for as long as there have been guns, there have been good guys and bad guys. Which one would you rather have? The gun. The good guy. Deterrent. That's my very simplistic thought.
All right. Yeah, the firearms used by the assailant in this instance and a few others, of course, were handguns. He had a shotgun and a semi-automatic rifle, presumably an AR-15, which opponents of firearms will say, no one should have an AR-15. You don't need it for hunting. You don't need it for self-defense. Because that's a military weapon. Mm-hmm. They will say, mistakenly, mind you.
Yeah, mistakenly. I'm not shaking my head. Yes, no.
And we should impose strict limits on what guns people can purchase, akin to European laws and laws in most of the rest of the world. Rounds in the magazine, if you can have a weapon with a magazine, semi-automatic limitations. And accessories that go on those weapons. How it can look, if it's scary looking or not. So I guess we can go over the opponent's arguments, why they might say we should limit these, and then rebut them one at a time.
Can we preface that by just reading the Second Amendment?
Of course.
I pulled it up. A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
Mm-hmm.
So the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
I'm going to play a little bit of the devil's advocate
Go
here.
for it, yeah.
A common rebuttal to that is, it says well-regulated militia.
Mm-hmm.
So they would say only the government should have guns because we have the National Guard, which is, they would say, the modern militia. Which most people would say that's not an accurate interpretation. Because the militia, even back then, they had state militias, but there were also private militias too.
Mm-hmm.
The militia was every individual in the community, right? And everyone pretty much had to, by necessity, have a flintlock rifle or musket,
mm-hmm.
because you lived nearby to, the wilderness territory. The
bears.
You had bears. You had if you wanted to hunt for survival, you could do that.
Mm-hmm.
You could do so. You had Native Americans, right? They did raids periodically because they weren't happy about our presence.
No.
And so it was a wilder time. So you had to basically have a weapon of some sort, and usually a musket.
and the difference between, well, I looked up the definition of militia. An army composed of ordinary citizens rather than professional soldiers. A military force that is not part of a regular army and is subject to call for service in an emergency.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole body of physically fit civilians eligible for law by military service. Yeah, that last one. So yeah, it's the common everyday person in pursuit of defending themselves and property.
Right.
And community in an emergency. That was a militia, not a federal or even state army.
Mm-hmm. Well, at the time, 2 points. At the time, it was not even sure that we were going to have a standing army.
Yeah.
Because before the...
Because you were a collection of states.
Right.
And seen that way.
A collection of states for one, but even that, the states themselves, would we have standing armies in the states? Or would we just have more of a system like Switzerland has, where everyone pretty much, the army is not as much of a thing there because everyone is technically in the military at one point or another, and they're issued a rifle by the government and said, keep this with you all the time, and, you know, or nearby. And if we need you, we'll call you.
Interesting. I didn't
That's
know
why no one dares invade Switzerland,
was.
because everyone's going to...
Because everybody was armed.
Yeah. So if we would have a system like that, wasn't yet determined early on in the revolution. And secondly, in many times and places in U.S. history, up until the late 1800s, it was required by law in some jurisdictions that if you go to church, you bring your rifle.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And if you look down the aisle, you would see men with their lever actions, you know, on their armrests, holding their lever actions in the aisle because, you know, there's bad guys afoot, you know, or
well, and
the tribes nearby or whatever weren't happy. You know?
Do you think that was? Do you think they were thinking about the fact that it was the community in one place, and so because they were collected, and if someone wanted to do great harm, they would get them at a point in time where they were centralized, you know, located.
That point, it was the whole town.
Church, your whole town, with a few exceptions, went to church. That if you were going to destroy, then that would be the time to attack them, and so that is why they had that protection. And it is not
unheard of in history that people were locked inside churches and then the thing was set aflame.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you had your local militia, all your dads with their rifles already inside, well, you're actually in a pretty good position. You're barricaded already.
Knock some glass out.
What are they going to do to you? Yeah.
Protect. Yeah.
So, we used to be a proper society.
My point earlier, we used to be a proper society where justice was not just a word, it was expected.
Well, certainly in times when you didn't have cell phones or the local police station just down the road, you had to do things all yourself. If you needed help, well, good luck sending a letter that's going to take a week to get there.
Right.
And so you had to do things yourself. So that's kind of the mentality that a lot of Americans who are supporters of the Second Amendment and firearms ownership by civilians, that's where they come from. Is I don't even in the days of cell phones, I don't have 10 minutes to wait for police to get here when I have seconds to live. Right. I need something right now. I need a solution to this situation that I'm presently in, and the bad guy's not going to wait.
No.
So
that brought to mind my current or my just recent experience of getting high centered on a railroad track. Okay, I did call 911, and I was told don't have anybody help you. Don't let anybody else on the track. And I have no idea how long it would have taken them to get there, but the community, just people that drove up, were on, heading to cross the same intersection, they were able to get there within minutes. They were there literally within minutes trying to solve the problem, and I'm looking down this track and flashing red light, and I froze, which a lesson learned, don't freeze. But, they were there faster to protect me, to get me in a safe place than emergency services. So nowadays, it's still, we need to rely on the people around us, and ourselves to protect ourselves, to get us out of dangerous situations, rather than wait 15, 20, an hour on a compartmentalized governmental institution.
And it's nothing against them. They just can't be everywhere all at once.
Right.
So.
Where our neighbors and, good people who are just driving on the road behind you, end up in the same place, and they're being willing to help, and things get taken care of.
When seconds count, help is only minutes away.
Yes.
So, okay, so we have the Second Amendment.
Was the point there. Same with, defend yourself, be responsible for yourself individually first and foremost, and then if you've got a community of people that are willing to protect themselves, being armed, then that's going to be much more efficient than relying on some external circumstances.
Precisely. So we have the Second Amendment there, and the interpretations of each side. So I guess let's go and down the list of what the opponents would say and our rebuttals to it as far as the guns themselves.
Okay.
Anti-gunners would say no one needs an AR-15 because that's predominantly what they think is used in these mass shootings. That's not correct. Most times it's the semi-automatic handgun. Of course, all these are cleared. They're all safe. No rounds are nearby. The semi-automatic handgun is actually the most widely used weapon in mass shootings because it's concealable, it's small, it's lightweight. You can take multiples of them and plenty of magazines. Whereas something like this, an AR-15, is much more, yes, it's more capable and more effective. However, it's more unwieldy, it's larger, harder to conceal. And you stick out like a sore thumb. The bad guy doesn't want to be seen. So, statistically, the target of the anti-gunner should be the handgun, but it rarely is. They usually go after AR-15s in law. Why could that be? Well, deferring power to the state is one. You don't need an AR-15. What are you planning to take on the government? Well, that's a possibility.
If necessary.
It's built into the Second Amendment, again. That was the founders' intent, was if something should go afoot in government, they would like the ability to be an effective resistance against evil people. And there have been plenty of times that throughout history that would have been helpful, but the citizens didn't have that available to them. And so the government felt emboldened to do whatever they wanted to. Soviet Union, Germany, everyone likes to point at Germany.
Yeah.
But, Southeast Asia, plenty of times, China. So there's that. Secondly, the mere presence of them, you don't even have to use them, the mere presence of them in society, and the numbers of them that are out there in the world. You look at places that had a lot of guns during COVID, and countries like Australia or Europe, lots of places in Europe, China, where they know no one's going to do anything about this.
Right.
We can do whatever we want to the populace, and they can't do anything about it.
Because the general populace does not have arms to protect themselves.
The most they can do is, throw something at us, but, So Australia was opening up people's homes, and dragging them off to camps, literally
Yep.
to COVID camps.
Literally camps.
That they could not leave. They had no choice. They had to go. Same thing in Germany. They were pretty heavy-handed. England was as well. France as well. So, but here in the U.S., especially in states in the South where guns are prevalent, you don't know what's behind that door. If police were to consider breaking down the door, drag someone off, hey, you have COVID or you had a cough the other day, we're going to
drag you off to a camp?
Quarantine, yeah. We're going to put you in quarantine whether you like it or not.
No.
Do you think they're going to do that if one of them might die?
Yeah. No.
No. If there's a significant percent chance that one of them might not go home that night, justified or not, they might think twice.
Yeah, and it's a combination of respect, because you respect that there might be a weapon on the other side of that door that could take me out, like you just said.
Yeah.
And that's respect for the weapon. But it keeps it keeps a lid on like arrogance. We're more powerful. We have everything. You have nothing, so we can impose our will on you. That's arrogance, and so it levels the playing field, and thus protects a free state.
Right. Well, Samuel Colt, on the kind of a side tangent, but Samuel Colt was known as the Great Equalizer.
Oh.
Because he basically popularized the revolver back in the 1800s. And so the common citizen, once they got a hold of a revolver, 6 shots, that's revolutionary. In the days of single shots, a gang of guys could, if there's 4 bad guys show up on the road and they want to rob you.
You just have to be a good shot.
You have 1 shot, well, who's going to get it?
Yeah. And they're still going to make it to you.
Yes. Whereas if the average person has 6 shots, well, a little more equal.
You can miss twice. But, and the expectation that you would be skilled with that weapon would not require you to miss twice.
Right.
You knew that you could take out the danger.
Precisely. So the presence of them in society is important to the Second Amendment, and making government think twice before they make decisions. Keeps it from even being a problem in the first place a lot of times. They say, okay, well,
that respect.
Before I put my name on this piece of legislation, what's going to happen? So, going down the list, magazine capacity. Okay, so what we have here in the AR-15 is a 30-round magazine. That's standard, not high capacity, as some would say. Oh, high capacity magazines. The bad guy used high capacity? No, it was standard capacity, 30 rounds. That's pretty much always been the case. They came out with 20 rounds initially, but very quickly was made 30 standard in the AR-15. Many states in the U.S. have magazine limits. 10 rounds is a common one. Colorado, I think, has 15. Bad guys are going to get magazines that law-abiding citizens will not, in that case.
Gotcha.
And it happens all the time. Mass shooters will, go to a neighboring state, pick up a bunch of magazines, drive them back in. Or you can modify the regular magazines to take more in some cases. And then your good guys who are law-abiding will say, oh, well, bad guy has way more ammo on him than I'm allowed to have. And that guy's preparing for this thing. They've been thinking about it for weeks. Good guy's in the moment. He only has maybe 1 magazine on him. So
you've automatically put them at a disadvantage.
Exactly. So let the good guy have more rounds in 1 magazine on his person in the unexpected event that bad guy shows up intending to do someone harm, and that will much more evenly lay the playing field.
Yeah. Well, even and correct me if I'm wrong, the forced limitation on even, a capacity, magazine capacity, or the availability of ammo, isn't that infringement? If your right to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed, a simple regulation of it is infringement.
Mm-hmm. Well, they have, I believe in some court cases, have come down on the side of accessories to firearms are also considered protected as well.
Mm-hmm.
So if I were to have this Glock right here, and okay, sure, Second Amendment protects this, but we as California are going to regulate magazines. You cannot have any magazines, basically making this a single shot. No magazines at all. Not even two shot magazines. Well, that effectively makes this worthless.
Mm-hmm.
It's a brick. So that would be an end around the Second Amendment in their estimation, but courts have said, no, you can't do that because that defeats the purpose of the Second Amendment.
Mm-hmm. To defend yourself.
Right. There's been some wiggle room. Some states do ban over 10 shots, some 15 shots, but we're working on it. We're getting there one court case at a time, slowly chipping away at it, at those regulations.
And that's why it seems to me that every time they take a step that means infringement, every time you push forward a law or regulation, and this isn't just about gun control either, it's anything. Every time the government pushes forward one step, it takes you years to push that back if you ever get a chance to. But then, we have a few hundred years now of, in general, governmental overregulation, infringement. Mm-hmm. Trying to claw that back. How many decades, hundreds, is that going to take?
Right.
But, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try. That doesn't mean you shouldn't do everything in your power to pull the government back to where it's supposed to be.
Right. Yeah, usually in human history, once freedom's gone, it's gone forever.
Yeah.
Or for at least one's lifetime. It takes decades, usually several lifetimes, to rethink a certain way of going about things. We've been very fortunate in the last few decades that more states are becoming concealed carry and open carry friendly. Constitutional carry, they call it, where they say, okay, well, the Constitution says you can carry a weapon on you.
Yeah,
so
you're not required to have a license or...
Right.
Yeah.
I think actually a majority of states now are constitutional carry friendly.
I was looking at that map not too awful long ago because I was going through my papers, having moved, I was going through my papers and ran across the materials that I had when I got my concealed carry license. And so I was just looking at the states. Okay, now if I want to go to Colorado, what do I have to do? And it did look different than it did a few years ago when I first started thinking about it. So I guess that is a good thing.
Yeah, it's been a momentum that we weren't expecting, but it's very welcome. And
correct me if I'm wrong, it seemed like the whole situation with the 2019 through 2022 COVID mess, that's when a lot more people decided we need to be free to keep and bear arms. And so the attempted, or wasn't even attempted, the oppression of the people that occurred kind of woke a bunch of people up, and they're like, our government can override us, and we have to be able to defend ourselves. So, yeah.
Well, not only did you have fears of government on one side, becoming nuts, just going nuts with power. They were drunk on power at the time, for sure. But you also had, it was kind of an arc of tyranny. You had on one side the tyranny of the government, but also they're allowing rioting in the streets, and
Yes.
arson to take place, and people be pulled out of cars by mobs. And okay, for instance, I was traveling at the time going to Georgia to see my father. I had my wife in the car, and we were letting my dad know that we had a daughter on the way. While all this was going down in Atlanta. And so we're away from home, a strange place, and we're driving through all these major cities on the interstates on the way back. As I'm getting reports of, okay, there's mobs in this town. Well, that's not too far away. There's mobs in this town. I guess we're going to bypass that town, major city. And they were, in certain places, blocking interstates. Oh my gosh. And so I'm thinking, what am I going to do? You know, and people are being pulled out of cars, you know, just sitting there in traffic, and the mobs see someone they don't like for some reason.
Right.
Or you honk at them the wrong way. And, so people need the means to protect themselves from anyone, government or mobs or individuals.
Yeah.
Try doing that when all you have available is 6 shots. Yeah.
It's hard.
This is fine for a polite society. You know, when you're going down to the grocery store in a small town and you expect
one guy tries to mug you. You know,
the most you expect is to see Billy Bob on the way and wave hi. All right. That's not what you want when you're in downtown Atlanta and there's riots going on.
No.
So magazine capacity is very important. Having as many rounds on you as you can possibly have when the situation calls for it.
When the risk is there, I qualify that. If you know there is an increased risk, increase your protection. If it's just normal every day, you know, walking down the street, you still have to make sure you're protected. But it's not so much then, you know, you've got to carry, you know, the big guns around. You carry something smaller. But
well, in these days,
there is always a risk nowadays. It's just how deep is the risk. Right.
And in these days, small guns can have very large capacity as well. For instance, you have the P365 by SIG. Small gun, smaller than this actually. This one comes with 10 rounds. Much smaller than this, but has 15. So it carries more rounds for a smaller size.
Isn't that what my Ruger is? 15 rounds?
I'm not sure, to be honest.
I could be wrong, but yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to look that up. But probably something to that effect. And so small guns don't have to be carrying less anymore. We have the technology. So another argument made by the left.
Okay.
Oh, I said the word.
Oh.
Made by the anti-gunners.
Yeah.
Is military-style assault weapons. Okay. It was used by the military. Therefore, you should not be able to have it as a civilian.
Isn't the military what the government could use against you if you had the wrong people in power?
Yes.
So if you are to retain your status as a free state, you would have to have equal or better defense mechanisms.
Well, going back to the founding of the country, civilians actually had better weaponry than the military did.
Oh, really?
Early on, yeah. Civilians actually had better weapons than the British military. Because what they were using at the time was smoothbore muskets.
Okay.
Right? A little more inaccurate. Because you didn't have that spinning effect on the projectile, keeping it stabilized. So it could go off one way or the other. You know, they made up for that with volley fire. So they had a whole bunch of people lined up.
Oh, okay.
And just mass, you know, launching.
That's why they did. I never knew that was why they did that. I'm like, why are you being stupid? You're just lining them all up so they're like a easy target.
Well, also because they had one shot per every, you know, minute or so. So they had people, first guys fire, rotate to the back, the next guys who are already loaded to come up to the front, and then they fire, and then you rotate out for loading purposes. But also, just accuracy, because accuracy was a lot less back then. Whereas marksmen, hunters, out in the wilderness, and what was then the West, but it was what we call eastern states now.
Yeah.
In the wilderness, they were hunting, right? Elk, whatever, you know, deer. And they had to be effective with that one shot they had for every...
They had to hit the target.
You know, it took 2 minutes to reload, so... you have to make that one shot count.
Okay.
And so make it accurate. If you're inaccurate, you wound the animal and it runs off and you never get it.
Mm-hmm.
So they had invented rifling. You spin the projectile, you have these grooves in the barrel.
Okay.
And it self-stabilizes during flight. And it doesn't veer off one way or the other for aerodynamic reasons.
So they had better weapons than
more accurate weapons.
the military did.
For sure.
That's fun.
The Kentucky long rifle, they called it.
Oh, okay. Learn something new every day.
Yeah. Back then, you could have military-grade cannons. Thomas Jefferson actually famously responded to a shipping company shortly after the Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
They wrote, "Hey, we have this ship with lots of cannons on it for trading purposes. We're sailing goods, whatever places. Are we okay for defending ourselves with these cannons against pirates or the British if they get froggy again, decide to capture us?" And he said, "Absolutely. What do you think we did all this for? What do you think we have the Second Amendment for? Yes, you're fine.
Defend yourself.
Yes,
Yeah.
You're absolutely fine to have cannons." And these were the exact same cannons that the military had. They weren't any lesser. They were same powder, same projectiles, same barrels, everything.
Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, we have lesser weapons than the military has. Quality is probably better.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say that. But as far as rate of fire, of course, most people don't have machine guns.
Mm-hmm.
And they're very expensive due to regulations. The military has lots of machine guns, fully automatic weapons. This is semi-automatic. The military has a fully automatic version of this called the M16 or M4.
Okay.
So this is not actually a military weapon, technically.
Okay.
Even though it resembles military's M4. No military in the world fields this weapon because it's semi-automatic. All of them are fully automatic, what the military uses. So technically, their argument falls apart there.
Yeah. And I was jumping back, why attack an AR-15? Is it because it's the closest thing to what they have?
Yes, because they would rather not have people being even remotely competitive with the government.
Right.
Most on the left are very big government oriented, which is very strange considering how the left was back in the 60s and such. But they've shifted, becoming big government oriented, very state minded, which I guess makes sense if you look at it from a Soviet perspective. Lefties love big government there. But if you can be competitive with the government, even remotely, that means
you're a threat.
You're a threat. If you disagree with us, you might be allowed to disagree with us.
Right.
And we can't do anything about it as much. So in order to preserve the groupthink and maintain our society as we see it, you cannot be allowed to disagree. And we have to have the ability to remove you if we see fit. And you can't do anything about it. Whereas, if people tend to have weapons that might be competitive, well, they get a say. And
they can at least hold their own.
Yeah. You can't think that. Are you going to do anything about it?
Yeah, all the it just reminds me of, and I can't remember of a particular instance, but the memes that came out during that time. Come to Arkansas and try to pull that.
Yeah, try that in a small town.
Yeah, try that in a small town.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's true.
It's amazing we didn't have more Kyle Rittenhouses.
Yeah.
It's amazing that he was like the only one that came out of that.
Well, and I would hope, this is what I hope, because of that situation and how his court case turned out, he was, I don't know the word, but it was decided that he had every right to do what he did. And therefore underscored, we have the freedom to defend ourselves. That the next time that sort of government overreach tries to happen, we will have more Rittenhouses, more people willing to defend themselves and the people around them. So I would hope that's the way it's going to go.
And they're communities from damage.
Mm-hmm.
right? Someone's burning down downtown.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back in the olden days, the community would have come together and said, knock that off,
Mm-hmm.
right? Stop that. These days, it's like, okay, for legal reasons, I don't want to get crushed under the boot of the government, of the court system.
Yeah.
Drag through that for years. Don't do it. It's not advisable.
And even if he was absolved of any guilt, but he had to go through several years of burden.
He probably got a few gray hairs from that.
Whew, burden and stress.
Yeah.
But, limitations on his freedoms. And even though he won, he suffered as a result. And
the process is the punishment.
Yeah. And so I would still hope that people would be brave enough and have enough courage to do what needed to be done, even if they were at risk of having to go through that sort of pain. Because just one young man going through it really made a huge difference. So if more people stood up like that and did what was right, they actually performed justice.
No, it doesn't mean go out in the streets, firing weapons, but it means that if
judge accurately the situation that you're in,
right,
and if you are at risk or you see a person that is at risk,
if a mob's coming after you with a skateboard and someone pulls out another handgun, you can do something about that.
Defend yourself.
And not worry legally too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Another side note on the military grade weapons argument that they say. Okay, say we have this right here, the Colt Single Action Army. I guess I gave it away. And this right here, the Glock 26. All right. From someone who doesn't know, if we were to ask someone who doesn't know weapons, which do you think they would say civilians should be able to have? From the point of view of military, people shouldn't be able to own military weapons. Well, this has 6 shots. This has up to 30 in extended magazines. This one, you have to cock every single time you want to fire, pull the hammer back, then pull the trigger, then pull the hammer back, then pull the trigger. You can pull the trigger all day long and nothing's going to happen unless you pull the hammer back.
Unless you cock it.
This one, you can pull the trigger as fast as you want to and it's going to shoot up to 30 times, depending on the magazine. They would probably say civilians shouldn't be able to own this because it's more dangerous and it's a military grade weapon. And this one civilians should be able to own. But only one of these was actually ever adopted by the military. And it wasn't this one.
It was that one.
This was the standard sidearm of the U.S. military, the U.S. Army, for probably 30 years. From 1873 to 1911. Oh, I'm sorry, no. Late 1890s. When they switched over to another revolver. But, so that kind of blows a hole in their argument, because there's a lot of gray area. Grandpa's bolt action rifle probably was a military weapon at one point, versus this was never a military adopted weapon because it's semi-automatic. So a lot of loopholes in that logic there.
Okay, gotcha.
Where else should we go with this? We're on time.
Yeah.
About 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, just about 10 minutes. This is going to be multi-parts, by the way, just so you know to look for the next one. But
I guess cosmetic features is one that came up during the 1994 assault weapons ban.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what it was in the whole thing about I'm not going to remember what it was called. Nope, it's gone. I thought of it earlier, but I think it was a cosmetic issue. And they were like, ban it. It's something stock.
Adjustable stock. Or is it bump stock?
Bump stock.
Okay. Well, that actually does, that is a little more than a cosmetic feature.
Is it?
Yeah.
It does. I do not have enough knowledge to answer that question.
It does kind of work around to increase the rate of fire, but in a kind of a silly way.
Okay.
Bump stocks, they are a stock that slides over the buffer tube, and part of that stock is this pistol grip right here. And as the slide as the gun fires, the stock moves back and forth on this tube and allows you to use the recoil of the rifle to pull the trigger.
Okay.
So you pull forward and boom, the rifle goes back, taking your pressure off the trigger from your finger because it's sliding in the stock.
Right.
You pull forward again. Your finger stays put.
The trigger goes forward.
The trigger goes back technically, but the trigger is moving forward to press itself basically.
Right.
And so as long as you're pulling forward on the front end of the rifle, it'll just. It's not very accurate. It's kind of goofy. Wastes a lot of ammunition. It's more of a toy. Really. But, it simulates fully automatic fire, even though it's not fully automatic.
Oh, okay. I gotcha. Okay.
But as far as cosmetic features go, and California just still does a lot of this, and this was popular during the 1994 assault weapons ban, which sunsetted in 2004. They didn't like adjustable stocks. And really all an adjustable stock does is, as you can see here, it moves longer, shorter. Oh no, that's dangerous.
That just adjusts for the length of your arm, like to your shoulder? Wow. Okay.
This fits me and my dad. Now this fits my mom. Now this fits my mom in armor. If she were to have
a bulletproof vest on.
Yeah. So, or this fits a child that you take to the range for their first outing.
Oh, that's just terrifying, isn't it?
It makes it more comfortable. You can't have that. You can't have comfort. What else as far as cosmetic features? Pistol grip. All right. So they say the pistol grip is very, very dangerous. It's more ergonomic. That's all it is. Versus a traditional hunting rifle that you see, which has the stock
just the
all in one
triangle.
piece.
Yeah. Okay.
And you have the grip kind of connected there. Very smooth looking. You cant your wrist forward, which is a little less comfortable, versus having it like this, more natural.
Okay.
Right. That's all a pistol grip does.
And they
banned it.
They banned that? Okay.
In New York and California still. And nationwide during the assault weapons ban. Another one, and this is a little less cosmetic than it is functional, but threaded barrels, muzzle devices. So this right here you can put any sort of little accessory you like on the end of the barrel. In this case, it's a flash hider.
Oh, okay.
So there's less concussion or less flash when you shoot.
So it's harder for them to pinpoint your location?
In military context, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Or just makes it a little more comfortable at the range. You're not getting as much blast. Or in this case, it's less of a flash hider than it is blast direction. So it directs the blast forward away from the shooter.
Oh, okay.
So you're in a little covering area at the outdoor range. And you're being nice to the guys around you, to your left and right. And you don't want them to have excess concussion when you shoot, so you direct that blast forward.
Okay.
It's kinder. Right? It's nicer. Or you could put a suppressor on there if you had one. This is not a suppressor. Makes it even quieter. Even more kind to everyone around you. So there's lots of things you can put on there, but a flash hider is not dangerous in any way.
What's it called again? A flash
hider?
Flash hider. Okay.
Because without one, you get a bunch of,
right,
nonsense coming out of the barrel.
Yeah. I haven't known that for very long. Well, probably a couple of years, but yeah, that it actually flashes.
And so you put that on and kind of directs the blast elsewhere.
Okay.
Mostly. Of course, it's always going to be loud, but they got rid of threaded barrels.
Wow.
For a time.
And those have been taken away now? I mean,
They've been reintroduced to the market.
Right, okay, I guess that's a good way to put it. The laws have been changed to remove those prohibitions?
Nationally, yes.
Okay.
Certain states still have them. New York, California is known for it.
Yeah. I keep wanting to say, yeah, the dumb states.
Yes.
But that's not really very nice. So I take it back.
Yeah. Pistol grips, adjustable stocks, threaded barrels. I'm trying to think of anything else that they didn't like. Oh, bayonet lugs.
Bayonet
lugs. So
really?
on
the
military
ones with
weapons,
the blade?
That's a bayonet right there, or bayonet lug.
Okay.
You can't on this one because the barrel's too short, but on the standard length one, you could attach a bayonet to that little lug, and they would say, "Oh no, you put a sharp instrument on the end of your rifle." That makes it especially dangerous.
It makes it so much more dangerous than, the sword I have in my bedroom.
No, I already have a gun. I'm gonna stab him.
Yeah, we were watching was it last night that we pulled up the Indiana Jones taking a gun to a knife fight? Was that earlier today?
Yeah.
Taking a gun to a knife fight, with
yes.
the guy in the marketplace was spinning his scimitar, and Indiana Jones just pulled it and turns around and walks off like
I'm too tired for this.
Yeah. That wasn't even fun. Okay, but yeah. Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, it doesn't make it that much more dangerous.
No.
You already have a gun in your hand.
Mm-hmm.
A knife's not going to make it any more dangerous.
Mm-mm. I wouldn't think so.
Unless you run out and then you're out of bullets.
Unless you run out of ammo.
Yeah.
You have to.
You resort to sharp sticks.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, I'd say that's a good place to wrap up for the day.
The best plan is to be so aware of your surroundings that you don't get into a position where you have to use force. Avoid first, if possible.
So you're never even there.
Right. And I think we underestimate how much just being aware of your surroundings and being prepared. I mean, knowing how to defend yourself by being aware first, and then, avoiding the situation, cross the street. There are many things. I'm not even going to go into all that, but just knowing, it's almost like know that there could be a problem. Be prepared in case a problem happens, but it has to be, you're prepared to the extent that it's knee-jerk reaction, that it's instinct. Mm-hmm. We'll say instinct. That it's instinct. Okay, this happens, I do this. This happens, I do that. So that when you're high-sided or high-centered on a railroad track, you don't freak out instead of, okay, this is what I need to do. I could have been more prepared for that situation, but I wasn't. And I froze. And you don't want to be in that sort of a position when someone's life is at stake.
Right. Yeah, it's amazing how you notice people that shouldn't carry a gun or aren't in the mental headspace. Oftentimes, anti-gunners are. It's a good thing they're not carrying weapons, because they say, "Oh, I can never do that. I would get mad at someone and pull out my gun." Well, if you're thinking that way, then yes, it's probably not advisable to do so, to carry a weapon or even own one. Mm-hmm. It's amazing how often people who do own guns and who do carry them are so restrained,
Mm-hmm.
And that's the mental headspace you have to be in. Okay, it's a lifeline. If you don't need it, if your life's not in immediate danger, it's not even a thought in your head. But they have this view of people who own guns as if it's like you see in movies about the Wild West, you know. No. People aren't going up hot-headed.
Mm-mm.
Be very restrained, and most people who have weapons are.
Because they have respect
Yes.
for the tools, and they have respect for freedom to the extent that they are willing to do what is hard only if it is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, so be in the right headspace. I think those who are anti-gunners should take a moment and realize people who do own weapons are most generally going to be the cooler heads that do prevail.
The ones that you should rely on to have
Yes.
around you. Yes.
Exactly. So cooler heads prevail, and when needed, shoot straight, shoot accurately, be judicious.
Yes.
And hopefully we can prevent any more tragedies from occurring if more people are armed and trained.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we can get next time into more of that side of things.
Okay.
The shootings themselves, go over, let's see what we, the mass shootings, the responses to them.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe analyze the Texas shooting that was stopped in the church.
Mm-hmm.
That guy is a freaking hero.
Yeah, that's the sort of person I have in my head when, please God, if anything like this ever happens, I want that sort of person beside me.
Mm-hmm.
I want them in my sphere.
The guy running out the door loading AR mags as he's running.
Mm-hmm.
The guy pulls up, totally out of the blue. Hey, guy run. Shooting, hop in, and they go chase him down. These guys didn't know each other.
Mm-hmm.
The guy hopped in the car, they ran down and stopped another shooting.
Knew what to do.
After the bad guy had already done one shooting. So
yeah,
that's the kind of people we need in the community.
Absolutely. I would agree.
We'll talk about that next time on Cast Iron.
IronCast. Are we going to have to fight about this? No.
It's funny.
It's funny.